All right, so this should be a review of Algebra 1, y'all. So this should not be a super difficult unit. The first 3 questions on the homework are adding and subtracting polynomials, and we're really just looking at like terms. But we also want to do that descending order, like Miss Dean talked about in the videos from yesterday for example 1 and example 2. So we want to start with the highest exponent, which here is 11x squared. Then I'm going to mark it off. It doesn't have any friends, so I'm just going to leave it like it is. Then I'm going to go for anything with an x. So 12x and negative 12x. Well, what operation am I doing here? I'm doing plus, because that's what the thing is in between the 2 parentheses. So 12x plus negative 12x is 0, meaning those cancel out completely. Now I'm looking at negative 11. So negative 11 plus negative 5. So that's going to give me negative 16. And that's all there is to it. That's what I would put into Savas. Okay, same thing, but this time my operation that is in between the 2 sets of parentheses is a subtraction symbol. So that means that if I find like terms from one set of parentheses to the next, I'm going to subtract them. So I'm going to start with looking at what's the highest exponent. That looks like this guy, 4y squared, has no friends. So we just write him down. I'm going to mark him off. Now my next friend is 8y, and it has a friend of negative 2y. And the operation is subtract. So 8y plus negative 2y. If you're not sure what that is, type it into your calculator. I get a positive 6y. Those guys are done. Mark them off. Last one's negative 3 goes with positive 6. Negative 3 plus 6. That's a positive 3. Not sure? Type it in your calculator. Positive 3. That would be my final answer. All right, so here comes the fun stuff. It actually says up here multiply, but I took that off because it was in the wrong spot and I couldn't use my arrows and whatever. So it's telling me to multiply, but I know it's multiplied because there's no space in between the 3ab and the other part of the problem, xa to the 6th plus ya to the 9th plus 7. So I know it's multiplied because these two are smushed together, so it's like there is an invisible multiplication symbol there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use that distributive property from Algebra 1. And I'm going to combine like terms. So 3 doesn't have, this coefficient is 1. So that's going to give me a plain old 3. A times a to the 6th is a to the 7th. So think if I have 1a, and then over here I have a total of 6 a's. When I multiply all those a's together, I'm really getting a to the 7th power. There are no b's for it to hang out with, so it's just going to be a plain old b. Use that guy, move on to the next one. Then I go here. Now again, coefficient is 1, so that's going to be a plus 3. A and a to the 9th, you got it. A to the 10th, no b's, so b just tags along. And then my very last guy is going to be right down here. So 3 times 7 is 21. There is no variables after it, so I just kind of tag them on. You got to remember those rules about exponents and how we add the exponents when we multiply. All right, so this is a fun one because we have to know what this cube right here means. And I can't just distribute the cube in this way. It doesn't work like that. It means that I am repeating the multiplication. So if you remember x to the 2nd power, actually let's do x to the 3rd. X to the 3rd power really means x times x times x. So x plus 7 to the 3rd power really means x plus 7 times x plus 7 times x plus 7. So I have to multiply all 3 of these. And I'm going to do that double distribute that we did from last unit. It does not matter. Did you hear that? It does not matter which 2 you start with. I can start with these 2 and multiply them. I can start with these 2 and multiply them. I will get the exact same answer regardless of which 2 I start with on multiplication. So keep that in mind. Do not stress about what should I do first. So I am just going to go ahead and pick the first 2. So x times x is x squared. x times 7 is 7x. Then I go here, 7 times x is 7x, and 7 times 7 is 49. Now this guy tags along, just brought him down with everybody else. Now I could go ahead and distribute and blah, 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 but that would be a whole lot of confusion for me because I notice that these two can go together. So I'm going to combine my like terms next, and I'm going to make this turn into x squared plus 14x plus 49 times x plus 7. Now here I'm going to distribute again. Now I can double distribute if I want to go from the back to the front and just distribute x to everything, and then so x to everything, and then 7 to everything if I want to. If I want to keep it left to rightish, then I'm going to start on the very far left and do these guys and then do it again. So it really doesn't make any difference. I'm going to do about the same amount of work. So if it makes more sense to you and it's helpful to keep it in order, start here and I'm going to distribute here. This is why FOIL, if you've ever used FOIL, this is why it doesn't work. Because if I did first, outer, inner, last, poor 14x got no one. Nobody got to hang out with 14x. He completely got left out of the party. And so we don't want to leave anybody out. So we need to triple distribute this time. Think of it as the distributive property. So x squared times x is going to give me an x cubed. X squared times 7 is going to give me a 7x squared. Now take this guy. 14x times x is going to give me a 14x squared. And 14x times 7 is going to give me, I don't know, hold on. That's going to give me 98x. I had to type that into my calculator real quick, y'all. Then I'm going to go, I need a new color here. So let's grab a blue. And now I'm going to take 49 and he gets multiplied. So I have 49x and then 49 times 7 is 343. Now, just like we did on the last thing where we had to combine like terms or we had to add the things that were alike, I'm going to say x cubed, no friends. Nobody else is a cube. But look, these guys are friends. 7 and 14 makes 21x squared. So those guys are done. And then 98 and 49, 98 plus 49 is 147. Those are done, and then this is 343, okay? Now, look, you all, this is something that is very meticulous, which means you have to be patient and take your time. I promise you will have less frustration if you are patient and take your time to do all this multiplication and don't rush through it, then you will have a much better outcome and make less mistakes. So take your time, be meticulous, be picky, work with a friend, and try these problems on that homework.